This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
And good evening to you here at 11 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins, bringing you the news from my home tonight.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. We start tonight with the latest on the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on Hoosier lives. According to the State Department of Health, 57 coronavirus deaths were reported between April 17th and yesterday, bringing the statewide total to 1,678. More than 189,000 people have been tested for the virus. Just over 15% have tested positive.
Around the world, more than 1.6 million people have recovered from COVID-19, and that includes a Central Indiana woman who is back home tonight for the first time in months. There were cheers and tears as 47-year-old Orlando Johnson Dickerson left Seton St. Vincent Hospital today. She was in the hospital for nearly 2 months and spent 35 days on a ventilator battling the coronavirus. Orlando is grateful for the nurses and doctors who saved her life. Those doctors and nurses say seeing patients like her recover helps keep them going.
If it wasn't for the doctors and the nurses and, of course, God, I wouldn't be here. They were amazing. I had a particular nurse, Stephanie, who was very encouraging. When I was feeling down and feeling bad, she was always encouraging and telling me that I was doing good and that I had got further than a lot of people.
It's rewarding. It's what makes our job worthwhile and reminds us every day that's why we get up and come to work and do what we do here.
I have my good days and I have my bad days. Some days I ride home and I'd be in tears, but knowing that I'm here and I'm taking care of them, that is a reward for me in itself, that I'm able to help a patient become better.
Well, since family members are not allowed to visit COVID-19 patients, the nurses helped Orlando communicate with her loved ones with an iPad.
In 3 days, restaurants in Marion County will be allowed to open outdoor seating areas. As expected today, Indianapolis leaders announced plans to support those businesses. We told you last night at 11, some streets and parts of downtown Indianapolis, including Mass Ave, as well as Broad Ripple, will close to traffic starting Friday. The goal is to help give restaurants space to set up outdoor dining and give people space to walk without crowding sidewalks. While this may seem unprecedented, the director of the Department of Public Works says that's not really the case.
These corridors have special events regularly every single year where we need to close the street for those events. So this just might be a little bit longer than what people are used to.
Dan Parker says the closures will eliminate 55 parking spots on Illinois Street, 60 spots on Broad Ripple, and 384 spots on Mass Ave. He says there are more than 370 spots within a 2-minute walk of Mass Ave. The street closures are expected to last through July 4th.
Tonight, RTV6's Cameron Riddle stopped by the section of Mass Ave that will close traffic as part of this plan and talk to restaurant staff who are ready to adapt to the county's next phase of serving customers during a pandemic.
You guys have a carryout? What's the name?
Non-stop carryout and delivery orders are carrying Basbo Pizza through the coronavirus pandemic.
Business has been good. We have some loyal customers, and we've been running pizzas out the door every single day.
The restaurant sits right at the corner of Mass Ave and Delaware Street. Part of 5 different corridors, the city plans to close to vehicle traffic so restaurants like Basbo's can place tables and chairs in the street, allowing their customers to eat outside. Manager Nick Waterfill says his restaurant is giving careful consideration to changes that will impact customers and employees.
We're not going to rush into anything. We're going to make sure that our plan works for our business and is safe for our customers before we commit to anything.
Waterfill says the closing of Mass Ave won't stop pizzas from getting out, but would force changes to their current carryout plan, possibly diverting pickup and delivery orders to the building's other entrance on New York Street.
We always adapt. We're able to keep the business going, and we'll just adapt again.
Customers at Basbo's will tell you the pizza is delicious. Waterfill says that's why people keep coming back for more, even if they have to walk a little further to get it. He hopes city leaders do a little homework to learn what brings customers back to each business.
Every business is different. I think they need to come to Mass Ave and talk to the owners, talk to the people who work here. But we're making this work.
Downtown, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Well, at today's virtual news conference announcing the street closure, city officials said that there are 12 restaurants in those areas taking advantage of special carry-out parking spaces. DPW says the city will be working with those businesses to try to relocate those spots. If a restaurant wants to expand or add an outdoor dining area, they must apply for a temporary outdoor seating permit. You can find more information about that at our website, theindychannel.com. Indoor dining across Marion County is still restricted until at least June 1st.
Some lawmakers are urging the U.S. Treasury to move fast on loans for businesses and local governments. This push comes after a congressional committee found the department has spent only a fraction of a $500 billion COVID-19 relief fund. ABC's Inez de la Cuartera has the latest on the pandemic and the economy.
At a White House event for farmers and ranchers, President Trump announcing a new food assistance program meant to shore up the country's food supply and keep meat prices down for American consumers.
Through this effort, we are providing $19 billion to support our nation's agricultural producers, maintain the health of our critical food supply chains, and provide food assistance to American families.
With the president still pushing for the country to get back to business
as we begin to reopen our economy, and it's opening up really fast.
Today, the Federal Reserve Chairman and Treasury Secretary faced questions from lawmakers for the first time about the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, that $2.2 trillion stimulus package meant to help revive the economy.
How many workers should give their lives to increase our GDP by 0.5%?
No workers should give their lives to do that, Mr. Senator, and I think your characterization is unfair.
The hearing came as a congressional oversight group revealed this week that the Treasury Department has only allocated a fraction of funds meant to help businesses and local governments. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin insisting
approximately $200 billion in credit support under the CARES Act. We have the remaining money to create or expand these programs as needed, and we continue to monitor a variety of economic sectors closely.
But Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell offering a different take, pushing for even more money to be spent to avoid an economic downturn.
This is the biggest response by Congress ever, and the fastest and the biggest from us. And still, this is the biggest shock we've seen in living memory. And the question looms in the air of, is it enough?
Meanwhile, President Trump is once again threatening to pull 90% of U.S. funding from the World Health Organization unless the WHO shows independence from China.
Basically, they have to clean up their act. They have to do a better job.
And Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin also said the economy may never fully recover if states extend their shutdowns for months. Inez de la Cuartera, ABC News, Washington.
New at 11, investigators are asking for help in identifying a driver after a deadly hit and run in Hamilton County. The sheriff's office says a truck hit and killed a woman around 4:30 this afternoon as she walked along Anthony Road near US 31 and East 236th Street. Authorities are looking for a silver or gray Ford F-150 with a tinted rear window, model years between 1997 and 2003. There may be damage on the driver's side front corner. If you have information, call this number. It's 317-773-1282.
WRTV is getting answers for a Central Indiana family after they raised concerns about a Boone County cemetery. Headstones have fallen on the ground and others are sinking into the ground at Lincoln Memory Gardens. Kathleen Haddock noticed those conditions over the weekend as she took flowers to her father-in-law's grave. She says she's tried to contact management. She hopes the problems are fixed before this weekend, when many people might visit loved ones for Memorial Day.
My fear is that families will come this weekend and they'll stumble upon this. They could have traveled, 100 miles for the day to come and find a family member. And then to walk up and find that, how disheartening would that be to someone to walk up and find their loved one's grave in that condition?
We were able to reach the cemetery's management on Haddock's behalf. They say there have been many burials recently due to the pandemic, and rain has caused some flooding. The cemetery also says new staff members have been hired and repairs will be made before the weekend.
There are new concerns tonight about 5G structures coming to Marion County neighborhoods. Nearly 400 families live in the North Willow Farms at 86th and Ditch. They found out about a 5G rollout after seeing a public notice in a newspaper saying Verizon wants to build a 47-foot tower in the middle of their neighborhood. The Homeowners Association president did some research and found Verizon wants to install other structures in their neighborhood. He's reached out to Verizon, the city, and state lawmakers to see if North Willow Farms can have a say in where those structures go.
Been designated for underground utilities. We've worked with IPL to verify that the neighborhood is designated for underground utilities, and so it surprises us that Verizon could get permission to install a bunch of towers throughout the neighborhood.
One of the things we have to do is educate the contractors as they come into this business that just throwing up a bunch of poles and running away is not the solution.
The city says they're in the process of reviewing pending applications. Verizon Wireless's website says has already started to install small cells in central Indiana and will continue over the next few years. Senate Bill 213 passed the legislature in 2017 and authorized this massive rollout of small cell wireless structures all over the state. If you're concerned, your best option is to contact your state lawmakers and the wireless company.
New and next, a Central Indiana mother shares a warning after an accident involving small toys sent her son to the emergency room. Kevin.
Amanda, we're stuck in the swirl of showers and cloud cover. We'll talk about when we make our great escape and warm up.
Anybody with a federally backed mortgage has the right under the federal stimulus to delay their mortgage payments for 6 months.
But you must request that benefit. Still ahead tonight, free resources for homeowners and renters who may be struggling to make ends meet during the economic crisis.
Report fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
New at 11, a message from a Hoosier mom to other parents. Talk to your kids about the dangers of swallowing different things, especially when they come with a warning label. She took an unexpected trip to the emergency room with her 8-year-old son after he swallowed buckyball magnets. Last week, 8-year-old Ian Featherman was playing with these buckyball magnets.
Suddenly they were in the back of his throat, and he realized that if he didn't swallow them, he was going to choke on them.
Zed magnets have been back on store shelves for a few years following a ban by the Consumer Product Safety Commission. The packaging includes warnings inside and out about the dangers of swallowing them.
Not even a week before this, I had just gotten on to him about putting things in our mouth, and he just didn't quite listen. I mean, he's a kid, he knows better. He's 8. It was purely an accident.
According to the ZenMagnets.com website, their products are small, rare earth super magnets that are 30 times more powerful than the average fridge magnet.
Ian, how did that make you feel when you realized that you swallowed them?
Shocked and kind of really scared.
Ian is not the first patient to come to Ascension St. Vincent in Indianapolis with magnets in his tummy.
Over the last couple of years, we've seen about 5 children who have presented with magnet ingestion. And what they're eating is these little BB-sized magnets. They have a lot of different names. Buckyballs, rare earth are the 2 I've heard most common.
Dr. Evan Kokoska is a pediatric surgeon at Peyton Manning Children's, and he removed 7 of these small magnetic balls from Ian's stomach this past week.
If you ingest one and then 30 minutes later ingest another, they get into separate parts of the intestine. And then when they're in the small bowel, if they're in different parts, they find each other and stick to each other.
Luckily for Ian, Dr. Kokoska says the 8-year-old ate all 7 at the same time, so the magnets were easier to remove, but it still was not a simple process.
If they sit in the same location, there they can also ulcerate. Was able to go in with a laparoscope, and it's pretty amazing, but I got the instrument even near where I thought they were, and they stuck to the instrument.
Ian is now back at home in Washington, Indiana, recovering.
My belly still kind of hurts.
His mom, Danny, is thankful for the doctor's quick action to take care of her son. She wants all parents to know how much of a dangerous impact these little toys can have.
And just talk to your children about the importance of not being scared to tell you if they accidentally swallow something, because it can cause some serious damage.
And Zen Magnets is one of several companies that sell buckyballs. In an email, the company's founder reminded me about the numerous warning labels on their packaging and said, quote, "We are the leaders of magnet safety, but most of the magnets being sold on the market don't take safety as seriously as us, unfortunately," end quote.
It won't happen immediately, but a pattern change is on the way. If you haven't been counting, don't worry about it. I've been counting. A trace or more of rain in Indianapolis, 6 straight days, and excuse me, 13 out of 19 days, 4 1/4 inches of rain. We may break that string. We'll hold on to a daily chance for rain, but much lower chance. I think I know the answer to that question. If you do need to mow, you've got a chance here on several occasions. The rain over the next several days, just a 20% chance most of us will stay dry. It will go back up again as we move toward Memorial Day weekend. The humidity comes up, temperatures climb, and thunderstorm chances will be there basically in that 1 to about 7 p.m. time period when you get to the heat of the day. But it will feel like summer with temperatures in the mid-80s. The rain chance during the day tomorrow, just 20%. We'll have a decent amount of cloud cover around, and temperatures, they'll still be well below the average high of 74. 58 at noon, afternoon temperature about 63 degrees. Then as we go beyond, temperatures from north to south tomorrow, fighting the cloud cover in the low to mid 60s. As you look at the wind, gusting to 30 miles per hour, make it feel a lot cooler. That's out of the east tomorrow, as we're still under the influence of that rainmaker, the area of low pressure that sits and spins to the south and east. A little bit of progress Thursday, 67 and cloudy. Temperatures to the south foreshadowing the warm-up. Terre Haute to Bloomington and Columbus at 70. There's your Friday high, 73 degrees. Then we step into the weekend, and that's when we start to take off. 81 Saturday, Sunday and Monday, and Tuesday for that matter, all in the mid-80s. And I think you'll step outside and think, ooh, it's a bit humid as well. That's why the ingredients are there for isolated thunderstorms, but I wouldn't change your plans at this point. That's your warmer 7-day forecast.
Kevin, thank you. The COVID-19 pandemic hit close to home at North Central High School. The school's beloved athletic director died from the virus in April. Now his family, including Panther Nation and beyond, is taking steps to make sure Paul Logan's legacy lives on. WRTV's Brad Brown shows us that includes some local businesses.
Last month, North Central High School athletic director Paul Logan passed away after a bout with COVID-19. That loss was felt well beyond the hallways of NCHS.
For 31 years, for him to dedicate that amount of time to North Central High School, and not just him as an athletic director or whatever role he was holding there, his whole family invested in North Central High School.
Paul's family is carrying on his legacy with the formation of the Paul Logan Foundation. The scholarships created will help the same North Central athletes that Mr. Logan served for 3 decades.
We really want to impact those kids who might not have the financial needs to participate, but pour their heart and soul into it and kind of help them out when needed. It was a great way to honor him, and we're blessed, and my mom says it best, is we're lucky to call him Dad, and so many other people, he was a father figure to them.
On Tuesday, Kolache Factory in Carmel held a Dine to Donate event. Proceeds going to help the new foundation get up and running.
Having the opportunity to partner with Paul and be a parent of our children on the same team was enormous. To learn someone, to have access to conversation with someone that's with that sort of knowledge and the care and the love that he presented within the Washington Township community.
From student athletes to coaches to parents, those who worked with or around Paul will continue to carry on his passion for youth sports.
If you had that Panther uniform on, you meant a lot to Paul, what he was trying to help provide as an experience for student athletes, and that's what it's all about. You know, I think that's what makes this area so great is the people.
I think he understood the importance of nurturing kids and nurturing student athletes, whether they're elite or whether they're just people that just wanted to participate. I thought he was a great guy, and he'll be missed big time from my family.
As we were sitting down talking about a week ago, and just the Washington Township community as a whole, it's been unbelievable. And as my mom says it best, is we were blessed to grow up here.
Working for you on the north side, Brad Brown, RTV6.
I'm Dave First with another senior salute honoring the graduating spring sport athletes. We head to Hauser High School seniors on the baseball team. Infielder Pedro Munoz, a huge team guy for the Jets, helping younger players improve. Outfielder and right-handed pitcher Parker Eichbush, a member of the sectional champs 2 years ago, all-state honorable mention the last 2 years, all-conference as well. Shortstop and pitcher Jackson Paradise, all-conference and all-area last season. He'll play at St. Francis next season. And first baseman and pitcher Trey Johnson, also a part of the sectional champs 2 years ago, all-state honorable mention. He'll play at Purdue Northwest next season. Good luck to a great class. I'm Dave First with another RTV6 Senior Salute.
Channel.com/rebound. This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
The Rebound Indiana is bringing you advice from experts to help you get through this economic crisis. And many people are already thinking about how they're going to pay their rent or their mortgage next month. While assistance is available, you may not know where to start. Scripps reporter Alicia Neves found free resources to help simplify this process.
Many homeowners and renters are still struggling. According to a survey done by Apartment List, 31% of them were unable to make their full housing payment this month.
So the percentage of people struggling to pay their housing costs is definitely going up.
May's 31% is up from 24% of homeowners and renters who were unable to pay their rents and mortgages in April.
Of the people who weren't able to pay their full housing costs, about 40% said that they had made some sort of arrangement. So presumably, despite not being able to pay their full housing costs, it was under an arrangement made with their landlord or their lender.
That means 60% of homeowners and renters made no arrangements and essentially may not be taking full advantage of provisions Congress passed in the CARES Act to help them.
Anybody with a federally backed mortgage has the right under the federal stimulus to delay their mortgage payments for 6 months. And so, but they need to request it specifically.
The company 650 has created 2 free websites to help those still struggling with housing costs. The first, hellolender.org, makes it easier for homeowners to access the help provided by Congress.
We saw banks ushering people into their own forbearance programs, which had terms that were not nearly as generous as the federal stimulus. So we developed this letter so that people could specifically request to delay their payments under the federal stimulus.
650's second site, hellolandlord.org, is for renters.
It writes a letter to the landlord informing them that they can't pay rent and that evictions are likely barred under the federal stimulus.
About 3,000 people have used these letters in the last 4 weeks, but it's unclear how many will use them for next month. Analysts with Apartment List are unsure if the number of Americans struggling to make their monthly housing payment will continue to rise in June.
June, we're in this kind of place now where certain parts of the economy are reopening. Some people are being able to start working again. I think that if people continue being laid off at the rate that they are being laid off right now, then we would expect the number to get worse. But June may also be the turning point.
I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Channel.com/rebound.
I'm excited about the warm up in the forecast, but remember, it's not tomorrow or Thursday. We start to feel that on Friday. You'll wake up to cloudy skies, maybe some drizzle, temperatures in the 50s. Afternoon readings climb into the lower 60s for the high. Mark?
All right, Kevin, thank you. And thank you for making RTV6 News your choice tonight. GMI comes your way at 4:30 in the morning. Until then, have a great night, everybody.